Thumbnail, done. Thumbnail.
Ha
Done.
ha ha!
Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess, and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to be talking about Atlantis The Lost Empire, and we have Jimmy! This is Jimmy's first Disney video. Everybody say welcome. Jimmy, say hello.
Hello.
Atlantis The Lost Empire is a 2001 animated theatrical release, and it's directed by Gary Truesdale and Kirk Wise, both of whom I've covered in the video about Beauty and the Beast. The link will be in the description. There are 12 supervising animators, seven of whom I've covered in previous videos. They'll be listed and linked in the description. The 5 I have yet to cover are Anne-Marie Bardwell, Ron Husband, Sean Keller, Mike Merrill, and Yoshimichi Tamura. Anne-Marie Bardwell is best known for All Dogs Go to Heaven, An American Tail, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and this.
Ron Husband is well known for Treasure Planet, The Lion King, Hercules, and this.
Sean Keller is best known for Mulan, The Great Mouse Detective, Treasure Planet, and this.
Mike Merrill is best known for Hercules, Venom, Captain Marvel, and this.
Yoshimichi Tamura is best known for The Princess and the Frog, Hercules, Klaus, and this.
The editing was done by Ellen Kenneth Shea, music was done by James Newton Howard, and the writing was done by Tab Murphy, all of whom Jess has covered in previous videos.
The film stars Michael J. Fox, Cree Summer, James Garner, Corey Burton, Don Novello, Phil Morris, Claudia Christian, and Jacqueline Obradors. Michael J. Fox plays Milo, and I covered him in the video about Midnight Madness. The link will be in the description.
Cree Summer plays Princess Kita, and she is best known for Codename Kids Next Door, Voltron the Legendary Defender, Clifford the Big Red Dog, and this.
James Garner plays Rourke, and I covered him in a video about One Little Indian. The link will be in the description.
Corey Burton plays Mole, and you would recognize him from Hercules, Batman Arkham City, the Transformers movie, and this.
Don Novello plays Vinny, and he's best known for SNL, Casper, Godfather Part 3, and this.
Phil Morris plays Dr. Sweet, and you would probably recognize him from Black Dynamite, Meet the Spartans, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, and this.
Claudia Christian plays Helga, and is best known for Babylon 5, Babylon 5 Third Space, Half Past Ed, and this.
Jacqueline Obradors plays Audrey, and you'd probably recognize her from NYPD Blue, Tortilla Soup, 6 Days and 7 Nights, and this.
This idea was born in a Mexican restaurant when a bunch of the people who had just finished up wrapping Hunchback decided to grab lunch together. And they decided they wanted to keep the Hunchback team all together for another project, and they really wanted an adventure setting, so they decided on Atlantis.
They started all kinds of mythical research, like underground caverns, technology from the time, and they didn't really just want to go for the typical Greek tower thing.
The crew wore t-shirts that said Atlantis, fewer songs, more explosions around the studio, because they were very proud of the fact that they weren't making a musical. And I just have to say, rude. The musicals were good, and the ones without musical songs are also good. They don't have to be pooping on each other. No.
They brought in Mike Ockrand, who you'd probably recognize as the guy that created the Klingon language for Star Trek, to create the language for the Atlanteans here. And they wanted it to be a bit of a mother language of sorts, being read from left to right and then right to left.
Tab Murphy wrote the original script in 3 to 4 months. It was 155 pages, so they had to cut a lot of scenes and a lot of characters and their stories. And they really focused on getting them to Atlantis kind of early in the story, so a lot more adventure in Atlantis could take place.
Milo was originally supposed to be related to Blackbeard the pirate, but they made him related to an explorer instead.
Lack of musical numbers allowed for scenes like the campout scene, where you got to know more about each character and really learn about their histories. At its height, 350 people were working on this movie. They decided to go with the 16:9 widescreen aspect ratio to be, because they were inspired by other adventure movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. They were inspired by Mike Mignola, the Hellboy comic artist's art style for this film, and they had to change their animation pads to be able to draw in that widescreen art style, and the film used the most CGI a traditionally animated Disney film has used at the time.
This was the first movie where Disney tried to utilize internet marketing.
This had a $100 million-ish budget and made $186.1 million in the box office, which is not great at all. But it was competing against Shrek and Lara Croft. Roger Ebert gave it like 3.5 out of 4 stars. It's got a 49% Rotten Tomatoes. Very conflicting feelings. People thought it was very anti-capitalist, which we're in for. But people it was kind of mixed reviews. People thought, like, it was very fun adventure, very amazing, and then other people thought, like, the plot was kind of like, and then the characters weren't super developed.
There was some controversy regarding some similarities to a Japanese anime, Nadia, The Secret of the Blue Water, which it did kind of have some similar characters, designs, and stuff like that. But the lawyers were just a little bit too scared to go after Disney.
The film has a direct-to-video sequel. I think it's called Atlantis Milo's Return. It was supposed to be a television series and have a ride. It was supposed to redo the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride at Disney. But both were canceled after the film underperformed. Obviously, the 20,000 Leagues Under the, whatever, ride became a Finding Nemo ride. And the TV series, the episodes they had done, became the direct-to-video sequel. But it has plenty of video game adaptations, actually. What do you think of Atlantis, Jimmy?
Honestly, I don't think I like it. I'm kidding. It's a phenomenal movie.
You got me there for a minute. I was like, did you just throw me for a dang turn?
Honestly, like, ever since I was a kid, just, like, watching it in theaters, it was just so wildly imaginative. Even, like, I would say, like, the CGI for a lot of those, like, early 2000s movies, especially, like, the combination of, like, the 3D and the 2D, it always just kind of never really meshed super well. Mm-hmm. But honestly, right here, I feel like it blended in, like, really well, like, especially with just kind of, like, the boats, the ships, and everything. Mm-hmm. Like, you honestly didn't notice it a whole lot. And I feel like maybe, like, a little bit of, like, that being contributed to, like, kind of, like, a stylistic choice with, like, how they were designed and everything. But honestly, that's kind of rare for movies around that time.
Yeah. I would agree with you. The first thing I thought about with your CGI comment is... they do a really good job of blending them, because there's movies like Sinbad, Legend of the Seas or whatever, where the CG and the hand-drawn animation do not mesh at all. And you have to spend like the whole movie getting used to that. And then you do get used to it and the movie's fine. But this, I feel like they do blend it together very, very well. Animation, stunning. Stunning. I have seen many clips from Atlantis, but none of them were ever, like, these beautiful, like, it's always, like, Kida getting taken up into the crystal, which is beautiful, but not, like, some of, like, the sunsetty soft tones they had, or some of the lighting in the, like, in the caves, and, oh my god, so much of it was so stunning, and I do like the, Mike Mignola style that they went for. I think it's very stylistic and different than what they had been doing, and I really liked the animation. I think the animation was stunning. We went before this, I feel like the last animated movie was Emperor's New Groove. Like, last big theatrical animated movie was Emperor's New Groove, which was also, finely animated, but the backgrounds weren't as, like, breathtaking as Atlantis' backgrounds. I will definitely say that with confidence.
And honestly, it's visually different from, like, the Disney style, but at the same time, like, I watch it and it still feels like a Disney movie with the movement. So it was kind of like a bit of a breath of fresh air just to kind of like have everything look so stylistically distinct from everything else that Disney's done. But at the same time, you can just immediately pin it down as a Disney film. And honestly, that's wow. Like, that probably took a lot of effort.
Yeah. Well, and I will also say the cast, like, the casting choices, fantastic. Who doesn't love Michael J. Fox in any voice role? Michael J. Fox's first movie was Midnight Madness. And then obviously he's been in Homeward Bound and Homeward Bound 2. And now he's in this. So he's starting to, like, now he's like the voice guy in Disney. He was in a live action thing and now he's just like all voices for Disney. And he just has like this perfect voice for this kind of stuff, I feel like. Like, he is the perfect voice for Milo Thatch. I don't think I could hear anyone else now hearing him, you know what I mean? And then what's funny is, like, I feel like hearing him as Milo Thatch is not the same as hearing him as Chance from Homeward Bound. Like, he is two different people, even though it's the exact same voice. Which, we stand. We love when that happens. Then obviously, James Garner back in a Disney movie is insane, because James Garner was a Disney regular for a while, back in the 60s and 70s. So to have him back in a Disney movie is so crazy and really fun, and then for him to be a baddie, that's kind of fun too, because he was always like the
Honestly, yeah, like the big cowboy, the hero.
Always the cowboy, always like the hero or the love interest or whatever in the movies he used to be in for Disney. So for him to come back and be the baddie was very fun. So I will say, I see where critics are coming from. You're going to get mad at me. I will say I see where critics are coming from when they say that, like, technically, not a lot of characters grow. I see where they're coming from. Milo grows in, like, his confidence to be able to do things, which is fantastic. But, like, no one actually, like, grows as a person. Like, they all they all go, you know what, we're kind of being, like, super dicks, so maybe we should
just be regular size.
Maybe we should just, like, not let Milo die. Like basically is what they choose. And it takes them, like, a really long time to get there, in my opinion. And then obviously, like, Rourke, he's meant to not grow. He's the baddie. And then Keita, like, she don't grow. She just, something happens to her, and then it undoes, you know, so no one really, like, which I get, because it's an adventure movie, and, you know, whatever, but, like, I see where the critics are coming from with this whole, like, there's not a lot of character development.
And, no, I do agree. Okay. It doesn't quite harm my enjoyment of it.
No, the film is so fun, and the characters are lovable. There just isn't any real
I guess, like, they were kind of, like, designed to, like, fill a specific mold, and that's exactly what they did, and nothing more.
Exactly. Everyone was, like, such a stylized and, like, I also feel like what's so interesting to me are all these comments about, like, the musical numbers allowed us to have all these, like, heart-to-hearts with the characters, but I still felt distant from the characters.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because,
campfire scene was nice, but
the campfire scene is so lovely, but I wish there were more than that, because they were being so mean to Milo for, like, no reason. Like, it's never, like, because he's a geek. I'm like, homeboy is directing you to Atlantis, and you're treating him like this. Which, you know,
I mean, there were, like, one or two small, like, accidental turns with, like, terrifying monsters, but we can ignore that.
Sure, but,
he's
like,
lovable.
They're all, you know, like, whatever. But, like, and then just, like, one night they're like, you know what, like, let's just have him at the campfire, and they have a little heart-to-heart, and then, like, after that it's like, oh, we're, like, kind of like a squad, we're homies, and it's like, but, like, you aren't, though. Like, you've been mistreating him this whole time. And then the next thing for them to do is to just not ditch Milo with the dying people. Like, that, like, there is
and even then, it did take them a little bit of time to consider, like...
Right. It was like Audrey made the choice, and then everyone else was like, oh, okay, well, if Audrey's gonna stay, we'll stay, too. Like... So I feel like I absolutely see where some of the critics are coming from with, like, the lack of character development, and, like, it makes me upset that, like, they claim all this, like, without the musical numbers we can have these heart-to-hearts with characters, and then I, like, don't care about any of the side characters.
Exactly, and it did, on, like, this most recent rewatch, it did move a whole lot faster than I remember it, because... It was just like, boom, you have Milo at the beginning, just kind of like in the boiler room, and then suddenly, boom, he's like pitching the trip, and then boom, he's on the trip, and I guess it's kind of nice to kind of just like get right into the action, into Atlantis, like everybody said, but at the same time, I was just kind of like, wow, like this is just like happening.
I did really, really like that, like, getting to Atlantis wasn't the story. It was helping Atlantis.
Exactly.
I did really enjoy that. I loved that we, like, got to know the Atlantean people and, like, help them out and save their little, you know, moment. But it is very fast, and that's fantastic. But there have been many adventure movies that are very fast where you, like, get such deep connections to the characters. And, like, maybe it's because they made too big of an ensemble, and they should have brought it down to maybe, like, 4 people with him or something. Because, like, that's a lot of people you gotta give screen time to for the audience to connect to them. And, like, they're all their character. All of them are very funny. And, you know, like, Mole has issues. You know? And, like, what's her face? The one that's always smoking and, like, saying, we're all gonna die.
Yeah, we're all gonna die.
That's funny. You know, great.
Same thing with,
like,
Cookie, the chef.
Right.
He has maybe 2 whole scenes. Yeah.
Bacon grease.
Great, but, yeah, it's just, like, hardly there.
None of them, like, that you can act... Like, even if we look at, like, Tangled, Pascal can't even speak. But if something happened to Pascal in that movie, I would
probably cry.
Like, you know
Throw
what I
down
mean?
Fisticuffs.
Or, like, let's try and look at a bigger ensemble. Like, Inside Out. You have all these emotions, and then you have Riley and her parents, and you are connected to every single character. So, and Bing Bong,
Bing Bong. Oh, God.
Like, how could you
Bing
not
Bong.
be absolutely shattered about Bing Bong? So, like, these bigger ensemble casts, it is possible to connect to each of the characters and care about them. And, like, that heart-to-heart at the camp would be that moment, but there's just something, like, off about it, where you're like, oh, cute, they all have, like, a reason they're here, or a history, or whatever, but there's nothing, like, further than that makes you like, oh, I want to love all these people. Mm-hmm. Until, like, they're like, oh, yeah, no, we should help Milo.
And then it kind of gives way to a larger issue, especially with Kaida, because she does get introduced probably around, like, the halfway point or so, you'd say.
Yeah, that's about right.
And then is there for maybe 20 minutes, but then immediately just turns into, like, a stone gem for, like, the next, like, good chunk of the movie.
True. But I will say, though, I feel like because of her setup in the prologue, and then her immediate, like, you see her fighting for, like, wanting to fight for her people, and then, like, her desperation and wanting to learn, just like how Milo wants to learn about them, I connect to her more than I connect to all these characters that have been in the entire movie. Now, the movie's a banger, okay? It's so fun, so beautiful, like, such a fun movie. Absolutely would watch it again a million times. Like, I loved it, for sure. There are 4 parent deaths in the movie. Big whopping 4 of them. Yikes.
Whew.
You know, been a minute since we had that many in a movie. We've been averaging, like, 1. Normally it's just, like, one of the parents, not the other, you know, but 4! Milo's, Kaida's, whatever her name is. So what would you rate it?
I would probably go for a nice, solid 8. Because, like I said, it has its issues, especially when it comes to its themes and everything, and it is a bit rushed, which kind of results in, like, the character development issues and everything, but at the same time, it's just, like, the writing is just so, like, whip-snap, like, you're always kind of chuckling or going, like, oh, that was really clever. And the action, especially for the time, is just, like, phenomenal. Like, you don't really see anything like that nowadays. Yep. So, despite all those faults, like, it still is just a stone-cold classic in my mind, and it's a shame that we don't get them like that anymore.
Yeah. So, 8. What should it be? 8 ships? 8...
Magic Atlantean crystals.
Crystals, that's a good idea. 8 crystals. My final rating is also 8 crystals out of 10. Our total movie count is... Our parent death toll is a little higher. Cry count is still the same. I did not cry. If you'd like to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram or Twitter. You find out what movie I'm watching when. Follow Jimmy on all the things.
Yes.
What can they find?
My Twitter is... What is my Twitter? I think...
It's right here.
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. Look at the bar. Look at the bar. Look at the screen.
And his Instagram is also going to be there.
Look at the screen. Still also right there.
The magic of editing. Anything else you want to plug?
Not at the moment.
Amazing. Follow him on his socials. I put up videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Buy merch. Merch is sick.
Great merch.
It's also feel this. Are we kidding?
Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that. You don't get that anywhere, ladies and gentlemen.
It's so soft.
Buy merch.
And join Patreon. Lots of fun things going on Patreon all the time. I got a tier starting at just $1 and benefits do come with that.
And there's a podcast on there too, right?
There's a monthly podcast for if you have the
also
tier
a
high
perk.
enough. Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on over there all the time. Daily trivia questions. Yeah, come on.
Steal. It's an absolute steal.
A great time at Patreon. That's everything. So until next time, comment, like, and subscribe. But I'm not in charge of your life. You are, so you do, and don't be Rourke about it.
No, we don't like Rourkes.
No.
There was some controversy. My alma mater.
A new controversy. Thanks for being here.
That was very awkward. I feel like we should try that again.
Thanks for being here.
I would love... Shoot. I don't know how to be nice. I don't know how to be nice. I'm a Rourke. No.